TUFF SHIFT. Hello, world, and welcome to another episode of TUFF SHIFT, the podcast where we unpack all that goes into surviving the job and living the dream. I am your host, Sean Patrick Murtaugh, and if you notice my eyes sometimes get a little shifty in here, I forget my background, and I'm not sure if you remember back from the pandemic days where there were some fails where people were on the news, were in business meetings on Zoom, and forgot to remove certain objects behind them that were quite embarrassing. Now, I don't own any of these objects. I on it, no shame, no nothing. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry. You don't need to. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. You've seen where things were on the shelves. I don't even own any of those items that could possibly be and I wouldn't leave it on my piano, but this is the level of neuroses I deal with. So every time I hit record, I'm like, what's behind me? What's behind me? And it's literally a sewing kit, a piano, and lots of pictures. So I'm good. What is that? We need to unpack that. Maybe I'll save that for therapy. But anyways, welcome back to another episode. I am exhausted, but loving life. Yeah, I'll say I am loving life. If you have noticed, if you've seen the artwork for this episode, you already kind of know it's a giveaway of what this episode is. If you haven't seen this week's art for this episode, if you haven't read the title, you're just hitting play because you love this show so much. And after you listen to it, you make sure to send it to 5 people and tell them to send it to 5 people and tell them to send you're part of growing our community. You just love it that much. This is a show. Another first that was not necessarily by design, but by necessity. This is inspired by Oprah, Shawnee's favorite things for the holidays. We're coming in and we're just going to get the holiday season started off and unpacking what it's like to be in the hospitality industry at this most wonderful time of year, and the joys that come with it, and the struggles and the heartache. And like I said, I'm nothing but transparent here. And I have been trying. I have been working at being proactive in planning out guests and making sure that I'm ahead of the game. And it feels like since the summer, it's just, I cannot keep up. I cannot get it done in time to have like 2 weeks worth of shows going at any given time. So that way, when things happen, and it's just the way it happens sometimes. People are busy, and I got finally back to a place. Shows closed, all this, all that. And I had guests lined up and stacked up, but Mercury's doing what Mercury does, which Mercury in retrograde is a thing. It happens. I don't think of it as a crutch. So I think of it as a, how interesting. How are we going to work around that? As opposed to like just an excuse for bad behavior or dropping the ball or throwing in the towel, which if you have to throw in the towel, sometimes you have to throw in the towel, and that's a choice. But we're not going to blame, cosmic forces for that. We're going to just roll with the punches and do what we need to do. And that's what I'm doing here. I had guests lined up, and one by one, they dropped like flies with sickness. One of the guests who I'm going to mention on the show today flew out to help her friend open a bar, which when I do get her on the show, we will unpack that and just how working in hospitality, things like that come up, and especially with the things that she's doing, because she's amazing. And I can't wait to have her on the show, but she had to cancel because she's now out of town, and just all these wonderful things. And I'm just like, I'm being productive. I'm being proactive, and that's just part of the game, right? It's you line things up, and sometimes it still doesn't work out. So you just gotta roll with the punches, and that's what we're doing. And I thought, well, what can we do instead? What can we do? And I was like, well, I have just had this pre-shift not too long ago, pre-shift all shift, where I shared some of my stories, and I thought I don't want to do just a pre-shift again of my stories and this and that, but like the whole part of lining certain people up for these holiday episodes was to promote artists and people in hospitality and what it is specifically like to be struggling and to be living and thriving and doing everything around this time of year. So why not reinvent the wheel, take a page from Oprah, and have a favorite things episode where we can talk about tips for how to behave in the restaurant, tips for how to have the best holiday season as a guest, as a waiter, as a this, as a that. Also talking about like how to support artists, how your gift giving this year can also include supporting artists. So we're going to unpack some of that, the holiday shows, all these things, and we're going to make the best. And I'm going to share some recipes with you this episode, and the things that I enjoy about this season, because it is Shawnee's favorite things, Tough Shift edition, or Tough Shift Shawnee's favorite things holiday edition. However that works, that'll work itself out in editing or not. So let's get this ball rolling. Recently I hopped up to San Francisco because I had that magical extended weekend in the show that wasn't really a thing. It was just the fact that I had a wedding with Jeremy to go to, and then I was going to go see my cousin. I was like, I am not going to get another weekend off from my boss if I'm telling the truth. I'm not going to get another weekend off, so I had to lie. And I've done that before with bosses in restaurants and getting time off for the holidays and stuff like that. We'll share those stories coming up because, at the holidays, sometimes some stories are great to hear again. The Night Before Christmas, hey, it's a classic and it doesn't change. Charlie Brown Christmas, that doesn't change. It's the same story. So we're going to share those in future episodes and openers because it's great. But I had to lie. I had to lie again because, what do I always say? My priorities working in restaurants, my very first priority is myself. I need to do what I need to do because I know the restaurant doesn't have my back. And that's not like a wah thing. It's just I'm aware of it. So we're not going to play those games. And I'm not going to miss any more family time. I'm not going to miss out on anything creative or whatever. As long as I'm taking care of my budget, as long as I'm meeting my bottom line, I got to look out for me first because you guys are going to look out for you first. And that's beautiful. That's how it is. And it's nobody's fault. It's nobody's a victim. Nobody's a villain. That's just the way the world works. So I lied and I told my boss that I had 3 weekends of shows and then used that third weekend to go up to San Francisco to go to this wedding, all of that, which was really difficult because when I came back to work and everyone's like, how's the show? And I'm like, oh, it was great. It definitely closed this weekend and not the weekend before. I'm not lying. You're lying. And not talk about the wedding and not talk about going up to San Francisco and seeing my cousin who I haven't seen in 9 years, which we discovered like 9 years. That's crazy. She lives in the UK and just absolutely nuts. And I just kept going to share stories. And then I was like, oh, no, no, do not say, well, I just got back from San Francisco. Do not talk about air traffic control. Do not talk about these frustrations because you lied. You lied, and now's not the time to tell the truth. So if I do talk about San Francisco with my coworkers or bosses, it'll have to be like in the future, in a reflection with no specific dates. But it was a wonderful, wonderful weekend, wedding and family time included. And it was really cool because, we had this big cousin get together, and then a lot of my cousins are diehard 49ers fans. So they kind of ducked out of our family event to go to a sports bar and watch the game. That didn't go so well for the Niners, but that's okay. That happens sometimes. That's how sports work. I say not having any skin in the game. But once the event was over, my brother and I went and met up with our cousins at this sports bar, few margaritas and some pub food, whatever. So freaking delicious. And just got to like do even more catching up, not during the game, but during the commercials. And my cousin's husband, who is also a Sean, there are so many Seans in our family, um, was just kind of congratulating me on the podcast and how cool it is that I'm doing this, and asking me about life and specific things about the podcast. Like he was just like cheering me on and really pumping up my ego and saying all these wonderful things, which I appreciate, because when you're doing something like this and you really have relatively no feedback onto how it's being received, what people think about it. You're just doing it and trusting that you're making an impact, trusting that you're bringing people together, trusting that you're doing something that matters. I know it matters to me. But the fact that other people are observing it, other people are talking about it, other people are proud of me, that's nice to hear. That's why we always end the episode with something good to share, someone to shout out, someone to thank. And so just him talking about it, I was like, that's really wonderful. Thank you for taking the time out of this. We could have talked about anything, but to really like say all the nice things you're saying and ask these very specific questions about the podcast, which also kind of tell me that you don't listen to the podcast, because a lot of the questions you're asking, I've been talking about for the past few weeks specifically. But that's okay. We're still engaging. We're still talking about the podcast. That's wonderful. I'm not going to hold that against you, because podcasts aren't for everyone, and that's okay. But it was nice to kind of have that conversation out loud with someone that's not Jeremy, someone that's not Marty, someone that's not the usual people I go to unpack all these things with and talk about and really seek validation from. And I'll be happy. These are things that I'm talking about even in therapy, but I'll be happy to talk about that, because this is what's up. And he's, wondering what's up with the show. Like, how do you see yourself growing? How do you see yourself evolving? What's the next step, getting through season 2? And I just had these conversations with last week's guest, Tim, post show, where we just kind of continued talking about what's next. And so it's in the air, which is maybe why Sean was asking me about what's in the air. And I just need to keep expressing it and keep sharing it. And so even though it showed me that he's not listening, it was perfect, because I still need to say these things out loud. I need to say them and hear them myself to talk about, so what's next for the show? Well, we keep going. We keep going. I think that's the most important thing for the show, and really sharing how, we're having a series of firsts, where I had to do an episode where it's just me. There's no guest. It's just me. And so it's just, I'm Mel Robbins of restaurants, except I'm not always that uplifting. Um, and then we just had our first repeat guest. I just did our first montage show. And then the roundtables, I'm going to call them the family meal shows, where we just kind of sit around and talk. And it's all these different artists, all people who have experiences. And we're going to talk about either hospitality or not hospitality, just kind of broadening the spectrum, and maybe opening it up to not just actors, not just artists. Like, there are people who worked in restaurants to put themselves through med school. There are people who put themselves in restaurants to get through X, Y, and Z. There's a lot that we can discuss. And he was like, well, how do you reach a wider market then, if it's very industry specific? Like, how do you open it up? And I was like, that's something to think about. But I think that we still have a lot of untapped, viewership and listeners within this market, within just hospitality folk. And, again, reiterate, I could ask the same questions to all my guests every week, and I would have a completely different show, because everyone has different experiences, and asking these questions and listening to these answers will lead to little tangents and side discussions and take us down separate paths. And we can agree, we can talk about these things, but you just kind of keep bringing things up, and there is such a wide market that when you look at the Bitchy, when you look at Maddie Rangel and all their listeners and all their viewership and our people who work in the industry, that's the next step, is to continue to grow this show to reach the people it's for and about, which we are doing. But there is still much more to grow just within this industry, just within this theme and these topics. And I just, that just all came out. And it's like, well, that's wonderful. That's exactly what I want to happen. And, he's listening to it and not grimacing. He's listening to it as like, oh, I see. I get it. And then, just kind of continuing what's the evolution, and what have you been noticing about the show? And again, something I've shared here multiple times, something I brought up in these pre-shifts, to where there's cycles, where the pre-shifts are just, we're coming out of me being a bitch, me being on fire, me being feisty, me being charged and hostile, and just like, I hate this industry. And that's cool, and that's needed, and that's real, because a lot of people can relate to it. But it can't always be anger. It can't always, because then it's like, Boy, Sean like really should do something about that. All he just loves to complain. He's and I have every right to complain, as you have every right to complain, but it's not good to just do that. So I shared with him what I've shared with you. It's like it's finding that balance, so that way I don't get stuck in victimhood. I don't get stuck in just always complaining. But like I need to share this because you need to know this shit is real. You need to know that this is what it's like working in hospitality. This is what it's like everything going behind the smile and the apron. Like, yes, of course I want to hear all about your life, and I want you to ask all these questions that aren't going to impact your meal at all, because I'm not stressed. I don't have a manager breathing down my back, right? So it's real, but it can't be the only thing I share here. And then talk about expressing gratitude and the cool things that happen, because not every tough shift is a tough shift. Otherwise, we would not be able to survive. And I'm clinging on, but there are wonderful things. There's the camaraderie of work. There's that sense of family. Not when they say we're a family, but when the bonds between coworkers are created and we are our own family by choice. There are some beautiful things, and I shared, the moments in work that are like, this is part of being a human being. I am part of someone's experience. I am part of people coming together to celebrate, people coming together to grieve. I shared, there's this one story I use for every interview, when it's like, talk about making human connections, talk about the time you went above and beyond your duties, your tasks, your this or that, and really showed hospitality. And I talk about, working weddings at the Brooklyn Botanical Gardens, with Union Square Hospitality, and that they had that down. That was a machine. They had it down. It's hard work, but really getting everything set up. And then because it's a venue that is open to the public, and we can only do so much, and we have to wait till the public leaves before we can bring things outside and set up outside. So we're setting things up indoors where the public can't be, to then gently full bars. We're setting up full bars to then carry into place outside for cocktail hour, carry the tables out. It is nuts. It is a machine. It is choreographed. It is beautiful. And part of what we have to do is, once we carry the bars out there and the ceremony is about to begin, we have to stand in front of the bars, because we can't serve before the weddings, which I completely support. Though when Jeremy and I went to this wedding, we're like, can we get a drink? And it was at a country club, and we weren't members, so we couldn't get a drink. So I understand people wanting to get a drink before the event starts, but then also, having worked these events, I understand the importance of not starting the party too soon. So, we stand in front of the bar to make sure people know it's closed. If you need a refreshment, there's water over there. There's da 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 da. And this one time, this gentleman, he was the grandfather of the bride. He coming in had mobility issues. He was in his 90s. He brought him in on a golf course, and he's like standing around, and he's there. He's so happy to see his granddaughter. Meaningful. This man is at the, as they say, the twilight of his life, or he's in the final stretch, which I don't mean morbidly, but to see the life he lived and the family he raised, and to be able to witness his granddaughter's wedding. Like, I without anything being said, I got how important this moment was. I got how special this was for this man. And he's standing there with a bow tie untied, and he's like, I just can't do it anymore. I can't tie bow ties. And none of his grandchildren, none of his children, nobody around, and he's standing right in front of me, could tie his bow tie. And he just, like, not knowing what to do, I'm the closest person to him that's not family, and he just like looks over and he's like, can you tie a bow tie? And my little gay self, I was like, I've been waiting for you to ask. And I'd like, sir, it would be my honor to tie your tie. And I just take my time, boom boom boom, and I tie the most perfect tie I can for this man, so he can see his granddaughter get married. And he was extremely grateful. His family was extremely grateful. But I'm touched by this. And, granted, I use this story to really impress in interviews, because it's a good story, but it also left an impact on my heart, because I do things like that. And I've always done things like that, because when my abuelita was still alive, I have a lot of patience for the elderly, because I would want people to have patience for my abuelita. I would want them to hold the door open. I would want them to make sure, are you okay? Do you need help with this? I would want them to be patient with her. And so I just continued on in her memory, that I have the skill that this man needs in the moment. I have the tenderness and just the emotional availability to be what is needed in this moment and recognize what is needed in this moment. And that's not patting me on the back. It's just I share that because I'm like, there are amazing. Same thing with this same company and working at Berkeley, Montana. I've had tough shifts there too, but those kind of go away. These beautiful moments stay. And so I want to make sure to find that balance. And that's what we're doing here. So we're coming out of the angry Sean period. You know, that was a nice, not nice, but it was real. And really just expressing gratitude. And I think no better time than the holiday season to start this and share it. So it's great. I do have some notes for my cousin and my cousin's husband and my brother, because we were at this bar. The waiter was phenomenal. They were busy. It was completely packed. All Niners fans, all emotional, because you know these diehard sports fans, they are sensitive souls. They're so tough. They're so sensitive. Like the team is losing, and it's like walking through a minefield. And this waiter was just flawless. Smile on his face, patience, yes, wait, boom. He was great. And I felt like a piece of shit because my table just kept stopping him and be like, we got some drinks for you. And he's like, okay, great. What do you need? And I order mine because I'm ready. I'm ready to go. And they're not. And they're just like, pause. You want to go? And I was like, somebody please order. And he's just standing there smiling. And it's like, not being mean, but I know that smile. And it's like, do you want to fucking hurry up? But so hospitable, so wonderful. So I forgot that guy's name because I don't ask waiters' names because that's none of my fucking business. But he was wonderful. So shout out, was Highland Sports Bar in San Carlos? I don't know. San Carlos. Highland Sports Bar? Sounds about right. If not, shout out to Highland Sports Bar. But he was wonderful. And I got some notes for my family. You know what you're drinking. And especially if you're saying, I'm going to just have another, do that. Have another. Do not take your waiter's time. He's busy. But I will say, my brother Christopher, in record time, ordered a Moscow Mule, which I've shared with you before. It's always a Moscow. He doesn't drink that much. He's not like me or my other brother. He doesn't drink that much. He's not trying new things. He's not blah 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 blah. He just gets a Moscow Mule, but he does it in such a way where it's like, you got some, you guys do fresh lime juice? You guys some fresh lime juice behind the bar? It's like, just order the fucking Moscow Mule. And then it's like, okay, yeah, you got fresh lime juice. Great, great. And what kind of ginger beer you got? What kind of, oh, I prefer cock and bull, but you know, oh, that one's good too. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's like, and I'm just like, smoke is coming out my ears. I'm like, order the fucking Moscow Mule. And he's like, what about, you got any Tito's? And it's like, they have fucking Tito's. And if they don't, like, whatever is in a glass bottle will do. And it's always just this thing to be like, yeah, can you make a Moscow Mule? It's like, you literally just called out all the fucking ingredients for something you wanted. And it always stresses me out. And this time, he just asked, hey, do you guys got Tito's? Waiter said yes. He goes, great, I'll have a Moscow Mule. And I swear to God, it gave me faith in humanity again. It restored my faith in the fact that humans can grow and learn. So Chris, good job. Everyone else, sorry, no snapping on microphones. Pick up the pace. All right. So yeah, expressing gratitude. That's all wonderful, but I don't want you to think that that's all we're going to do. And I got a little shit to talk before we move on. Because this week I'm coming back to work and it's literally, there's no show. There's no wedding. There's no trip to San Francisco. It's back to full-time, which my bank account is going to love. My bank account is going to love me working full-time again. But it's just like I have to wait till December to get out of here. Again, I have to wait until my Christmas show to get out of here, which buy your tickets. But I walk into work and it's always an uphill battle. But I walk into work and my coworker, who's one of my favorite coworkers, he does prep stuff. And Tuesdays are juicing days and Tuesdays are where he's making this and making that. And that in some areas slows me down because he needs a portion of the bar that I have to set up. But he makes up for it in other ways. Like I come in and the mats are already on the floor, the Seanie buckets are set. He does, the ice is already there. So he makes it easier for me in other ways. But it's one of those things where I'm not complaining about him. It's just one of those days where I know like we both have to be very mindful of each other's space and time. And it's just like, so Tuesdays can be a little rough. Also, I'm opening after the team that closed and this team, when they work together, it's not the most desirable opening. So there's that hiccup. And then I walk behind the bar, and there's a gentleman with one of our lowboy refrigerators pulled out and doing work on it. I'm like, oh, now one more thing to work around. And I'm just like, kind of doing stuff. I'm like, I don't want to bother this guy. And, after 10-ish minutes of me doing everything I can without being behind the bar, I'm like, hey, how long do you think you're going to need? And of course he's like, what? And like drops whatever he was working on and then continues to proceed like, oh, I dropped it because he was talking to me and he did it. And I was like, sir, sir, you can't hold on to an object. Like, I startled you that much. Like, you actually didn't drop it until like I had started the second sentence. So you continuing to do something, working with something fragile after we had already engaged in conversation, don't blame this on me. Buttergrip Johnson, you dropped it. You dropped it. And it's not my fault. And I just asked a simple question. And he's like, I need a half hour. I'm like, this is going like a half hour. And we've already talked about what opening this bar is like. And I'm like, I can't lose any time. So I'm trying to do shit. I'm like, hey, you know what? I need to get in. So I need you to stop working for 10 seconds to let me by so I can do stuff. And then I need to get stuff. So I need you to stop working again for 10 seconds because we all need to work around each other, right? We all need to work around each other. It's not just your world. It's not just Danny's world. It's not just my world. It's all of our worlds. So I'm going to need you to be a little considerate. Obviously, I didn't say it like that, but that was what was behind, and just kind of working around him for him to pretty much not get anything done. And it was just like, so I have these things. But going back to the team that closed and worked the night before, usually so I have all these uphill battles, but they made that hill even steeper. I looked around and I was like, there's zero of any of the garnishes that should be restocked that can be, like, zero. Blends, there's just a sink full of empty bottles waiting to be filled, but there's no blends to make them. And I understand we have a blending day where people do it, but when we run out of things, you do it on the fly. You make the blends and you refill it. So now I have this guy taking my time, my coworker affecting my time, which is not him. That's what our Tuesday's like. And then these two bartenders who literally did nothing, and it was a mess. Even more of a mess, like gunk ever. Like, who signed off on this? Which manager said, "Yep, they did everything they're supposed to do"? So I have to clean in order to set up, and then it was a shit show. And I was like, you know what? It's every Tuesday. This isn't just a one-off because I'm not a snitch, right? I'm not a snitch. I let people tell themselves, but this is not a one-off. This is consistently. Every time I open on Tuesday, it's this. And when I have this refrigerator repairman who has no spatial awareness, or the fact that other people exist, and when I have, the fact that Danny has to do what he has to do because you didn't schedule him properly and you don't plan ahead properly and you don't give us what we need, I was just like, I blew. And when my manager came in, I was like, unacceptable. I'm getting this done. And I did get it done. So when people complain, which these two bartenders did complain, that they didn't have the time or they didn't have this, how do I get it done? How do I get it done? With all that y'all do, how do I get it done? Tell me. But I want to hear, because manager reached out to them. And he's like, hey guys, the bar is a disaster. Nothing was done. And of course they're like, what do you mean? We couldn't refill things that we didn't have to refill. And it's like, well, I made the blend and I refilled it. There was no simple syrup. Do you know simple syrup is the easiest thing to make? You're a bartender and you think you invented bartending. You can't just make a quick thing of simple syrup and fill up. You're going to put a bottle with one drop, because it's like, we have to run through product before and wash the bottles before we can refill them. It's like, when there's one drop of simple syrup, you just rinse it out. You don't wait for me to use that one drop. Like that level of stupidity and bullshit and thoughtlessness. So fuck you. And just, they had all these excuses, and my manager's reading them because, like, he was on board with me, like, you're so right, this is unacceptable. And then as he's getting their excuses back, he's like reading, he's like, well, this and that. And I was like, they always have the best reasons. They always have the best reasons. He's like, well, there are things to consider. And so then he's like, this manager doesn't know like what is what. And it's like, no, you need to stand your ground and you need to call them out and you need to create a structure behind the bar to where people are held accountable. And these are the steps we follow. This is the structure, not just these lists that don't actually get things done. So it's like he's then being like, oh, and the other bartender's talking about when she opens on Sundays. I'm like, what does Sunday have to do? Today's Tuesday. And when she opens for brunch, all the uphill stuff she has to deal with. And I'm like, bullshit. Because when I used to open Saturday brunches, I set her up for success. She never had to make a Bloody Mary blend. She had all the garnish. I made all the garnishes for the brunch cocktails for the weekend. And so, and and then when I would come in on Sunday after she opened, things still wouldn't be done. I'm like, how do I do all this work for you guys? And you still can't get the job done. Right? And again, I'm not a snitch. I did call out what was going on because a snitch would have told my boss the fact that they drink on the job and that the reason why shit gets done and the reason why everything's sloppy is because they're sipping through the night. But I didn't say that because they'll find out when they find out, if they find out, and they'll pay for that, how they have to pay for that. But I'm not going to snitch on that. I will say, what the fuck is this? Who signed off on this? Because that's on you. It's on them, but it's on you. And so then I come in on Saturday, and that one bartender who he's like the main bartender, and he's supposed to actually, part of his job is making blends. So the fact that he's like, what am I supposed to do if we don't have enough? It's like, I thought that was your fucking job. So I come in, I see my work husband. I'm like, hey baby, how you doing? Da 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 da. I'm like, hey, so-and-so, how you doing? He's like, well, a lot better than you were on Tuesday, apparently, and tries to call me out for holding him accountable. And I just looked at him. I looked at my work husband and I walked away. I walked the fuck away because I'm like, I'm gonna blow. And I came back and he's like, still poking and prodding, but trying to do that. This guy's got Napoleon complex. And he's like, oh no, I'm just kidding. No, and like, do that broy handshake and hug and just talk it out. And so I'm like, I'll talk it out. But I'm gonna let you know, it's every week and you couldn't do this and you couldn't do that. And like, I did it. And he's like, well, that's your job as openers. You got to refill things. I'm like, yeah, but I can't do it. Was just this thing to where he's still defending himself and still standing by and rationalizing why he dropped the ball and why it was a mess. And I'm like, well, I know you drink on the job. I'm not going to say that because we know. But like, how are you defending yourself as being one of the people? Because he also said this. He's like, to the other coworker that he works with, that they just are the worst combo impossible. Like, nobody cares anymore. So that's why I don't really care anymore. Bitch, speak for yourself. You don't care. You don't say nobody cares. Because there are 4 bartenders on that bar that I love working with, that we get shit done. And we said, you guys, we care. I wasn't raised to be a bad worker. I wasn't raised to have bad work ethic. I was raised almost traumatically so to be a good worker. And I just want to make clear, I may hate this place, but I don't hate myself. And I stand by my work. So put that in your fucking pipe and smoke it. But how are you defending yourself? And I'm looking around and there are still things that are just not done. Like, what have you been doing all day? What have you been doing all day? And you're standing by and you're still under delivering? Baby. That's okay. And it's okay because like I'm at a place where like I'm so over this place and so getting things done and getting the steps needed to get out of this industry, get out of this restaurant, that it's one of those things where you see the light at the end of the tunnel and things may be on fire, but you're like, at least my skin looks good. At least my hair looks good. At least I know there's light at the end of the tunnel. You're just like, you can burn all you want. I'm on fire in a different way. So yeah, that's their journey and we're going to leave it there. And we're going to get to the rest of the show. So I'm going to take a little break. Are we announcing breaks now on the show? I'm going to take a little break and we'll start our next segment. I love you guys. Thank you for hearing me out. Hey there, just checking in. I hope you're enjoying this episode so far. And if you are, why not leave us a 5-star review and a comment or two wherever you're listening to this from. And don't forget to follow us on social media at TUFF SHIFT Podcast. That's TUFF Shift Podcast. Everywhere. Literally everywhere. And just a reminder, gratuity's not included, but tips are always welcome. And you can find our virtual tip jar at tuffshiftpodcast.com. That's TUFF Shift Podcast.com. All right, back to the show. Oh, well, hello there. I hope you enjoyed that commercial break. Is that the one? Is that the break where I talk about how gratuity is not included? And that if you like what you hear on the show and you want to help offset some of the costs that go into making this show, if you want to tip, go right ahead. You want to leave a comment somewhere? Go. I think that's the little clip I put when I take a break. So if you feel so inspired to leave a tip, just go to our website, tuffshiftpodcast.com. That's TUFF Shift podcast.com. Yeah, I know you just heard that. I know you just heard it. That's an earworm. And yeah, feel free to leave a virtual tip. But if you don't have it in yet to leave a tip, if you're not inspired to leave a tip, why not leave a comment? Why not leave? That's free. That's free, and it runs it. You have no idea what pressing 5 stars, wherever you're listening to it from, what being like thumbs up, which I hate the thumbs up emoji, but even a thumbs up, just leaving a simple comment, being like, Sean, shut up. Even that is helpful. Even that runs up my numbers. So yeah, that's something. Was that the commercial that just played? Okay. Anyways, back to the show. Yeah. So the holiday season is here. The holiday season is here, and it is the most wonderful time of year. Apparently, that's what all the songs say. It is actually my favorite time of year. I love Christmas. I love the holidays. I love not so much this year with daylight savings time, but I always associate joy with daylight savings time because the Christmas tree goes up, and the smell of the food, and the daylight savings time has such a beautiful memory for me as a child with the smells in the house and the cooking and the gifts and the wrapping and the lights and it's so magical. This year, maybe it's because my tree's not up yet, but daylight savings time kind of annoyed me this year, and it feels a little aggressive, right? And just like, let's get to the holiday season. Let's get to the good part, and let's get to it together, and let's realize that we're in it together. Whether people are celebrating the same holiday as you, whether people are celebrating any holiday at this time or not, they still exist. And we still all have the right to exist. And what do I always say? Restaurants, like life, is a shared experience. So let's remember that there are other people around us, maybe celebrating, maybe not celebrating, but they still have the right to exist. We all have the right to exist. We all have the right to celebrate how we see fit or not celebrate how we see fit. So let's not go into the holiday with tunnel vision. All right? You're celebrating Christmas? Me too. You're stressed out about all the money you have to spend on gifts? Me too. You want to have all this wonderful time and make memories with your family? Me too. And so do all of you. What is that voice I just did? What is that voice? Everyone else is, we all have families. We all have gifts to buy. We all have things to decorate. We all feel like short on time and short on funds. We want to celebrate just as much as you do. And so I really want to, put it out there. Don't make this all about you. Ask not what your server can do for you, but what you can do for your server. And let me tell you, not being an asshole is the number one thing you can do for your server, for your bartender, for the person that you're buying gifts from anybody you're interacting with in customer service at this time. Remember that they exist at this time of year too. And if they're celebrating the same, maybe not the same way, but the same day as you, or celebrating something equally important or as meaningful to them. Okay? So let's just go in there, because a lot of times in the holiday season, people are always like, well, it's my Christmas. It's my Christmas. And it's like, yeah, it's my Christmas too. And you don't deserve anything more than what you're getting, because this is transactional. And when you actually put on the brakes about being entitled, you will be surprised. You will be surprised at the treatment you get. When I don't feel like you're pressing me to impress you, to make your day, I gotta preserve, I gotta protect. So I put up a wall and I put up a boundary. Like, you're getting the bare minimum. You're getting the bare minimum plus a little more, because again, like I said just a while ago, I may hate this place, but I don't hate myself. So like, when you allow people to show up for you and surprise you, they'll surprise you. We just had somebody at our bar recently, and my coworker was like, hey guys, you want to look at some desserts? And they were like, well, we don't know. It's our birthday, just in case you want to surprise us with something. These were grown-ass, silver hair, facing retirement men talking about, if you want to surprise us. This ain't Chuck E. Cheese. This ain't Red Robin. No shade to them, but like, do you want dessert or not? Like, don't do this thing to where I have to give you a free dessert, right? Like, if you just casually like talked about, you know what, it's our birthday, we should order dessert. Bitch, I will find a way to fucking give you free shit because I love giving free shit to people. I love making people's day. But when people are like expecting something from me, it's when I turn off and I'm like, no, you're not cool, and this is not symbiotic. You're leeching, and I don't need to do that. So let's not do that this holiday season. We're all celebrating or not celebrating. We all exist. We're all in the same restaurant together. So that's the first thing. So I want to have some tips. Um, for you, and I'll think of more tips as these episodes come out during the holiday season. But I just want to let you know some things that I think just to be thoughtful of. And the first thing I will say is when you are, this is a very expensive time of year. We're not even just gifts. It's a very social, and it weighs on our pocketbooks, and that's just what it is. We know. So plan ahead. And part of that planning ahead, like when you're budgeting, is to budget your gratuity, to budget your tips. All right. That is part of the service. I don't want to have this conversation about just pay a living wage. That's not what we're dealing with here. You want to do that? Run for Congress, run for this, impact change that really, and also see what happens to the menu prices. Okay. So we're not going to unpack that for now. The agreement is, and you're like, I shouldn't be paying for the worker's wage. Like, what do you think you're paying for your burger for? What do you think you're paying? You could go to Ralph's and get all the ingredients and make it yourself. You're paying for the fact that somebody's preparing it for you. You're paying, that price is included of the person carrying it to you. But the gratuity is not included. So that way, just when you look at the menu, you're not overwhelmed at the prices, because we, as a culture, we need to have a big shift. So gratuity is just part of it, and you just gotta plan ahead. And if you don't like it, too bad. Stay home. If you're going out, you're gonna tip. You're gonna tip, and especially at the holidays, I don't give a shit. Nothing less than 20%. All right, because what happens is people go out and they're like, oh, gotta buy these drinks and gotta buy this, that, and run up the bill, and then because they've also been buying gifts and this and that, where they take it out on, because people are like, oh, people must be so generous at the holiday season. Like, you've never worked in hospitality. There are generous people. There are some people that it's like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for being so generous. My parents, I've seen them, when they had this one place that used to go all the time with my nieces. Every Saturday, Sunday, they go to this place called Big Joe's in Burlingame. It's no longer there. And at the holiday season, there's always one outing where my dad would leave an even more generous tip. Like, you'd leave a tip for your mailman, like your doorman, your whatever, because it's their holiday too. And so not just for the service, but this is once a year. This is a little bonus. Thank you for being a part of our family. Thank you for welcoming our family. So that's something to really consider. Like, especially if you're a regular somewhere and you're tipping your mailman, you're tipping you this, don't forget to take care of the person who's been taking care of you. If you can swing it. If you can swing it. Regardless, nothing less than 20%. So don't take it out on the server, on the bartender, or the bussers, or anyone else that's in that tip pool. Don't take it out on them because you didn't budget wisely. And you don't need to buy people drinks. People can buy their own drinks. You need to stay within your budget, which I need to hear, because that's actually something I've unpacked in therapy, is like the need to feel like I need to buy people stuff, when it's like, baby, they got better jobs than you. They can buy you a drink, and I just feel this need to buy people drinks. But I never take it out on the person making the drinks. So one thing to think about is setting your budget realistically and making tip a part of your budget. So if you're going to spend all that money, you're going to tip accordingly. All right. That's what we're going to do, because this is the season of giving and generosity, right? So let's make sure we're keeping that in all of our areas. And just on that, be gracious. Again, going with back to what I said, you're stressed, so am I. You're running around, so am I. You're celebrating the holidays, so am I. You're burned out, so am I. So let's just be gracious. Let's be mindful of the fact, again, like I mentioned, if the food's taking too long, if this isn't right, if that's not right, oh, actually, I ordered a martini and this is a Manhattan, or actually I ordered Cabernet Sauvignon and this is a Sauvignon Blanc. Actually, oh, I'm so sorry. You don't have to say, oh, I'm so sorry. You just got to be clear and communicate. That is not the end of the world. It is not a reason to get upset about X, Y, for any reason. Just like, oh, just correct it. Things go wrong. And especially when restaurants are being pummeled for the holiday season, you're going to need to be patient because there's more people in here than usual. There's more stuff flying around and this and that. There's more to manage at this time of year, and we're doing it. And we're also human, so we're going to make mistakes. So we're going to be patient. We're going to be gracious. We're going to be forgiving, and we're going to clearly communicate. God, last night, this woman sat at the bar, and I just knew from the very moment, like, she's an asshole. She's an asshole, and she was. And she sat down, and just the way she asked for 2 waters. Can we get 2 waters? Like, oh, hey, bitch, how you doing? How you doing? Welcome. Sit down. I'll get you menus. Like, but just the way she said it, I was like, oh no, I'm going back to service bar. They can deal with it. And my coworker at the end of it was like, I knew when she said, because like he said, hi, how are you? And she, yeah, we're 2. There's 2 of us. It's like, okay. So we made their drinks, did that. The kitchen, we were down 2 cooks because shit happens. It's that time of year. People get sick. Shit happens. It happens. And the salad did take a little longer than it should have, but not crazy long. And then the salad arrives, and she's like, "What? I mean, do you have any bread I can have with this?" And it's like, well, why the fuck didn't you order the bread to begin with? And my coworker's like, yeah, I can order. You want to order some pita? You want to order some focaccia? Like, what do you want? I'll have the pita. And then it's like, did he put in my pita? And it's like, yo, look around at this full restaurant. Look around at this full restaurant. There are other people. We're short 2 people, which is none of your business. You don't need to do that, and it's not your fault we're short 2 people. But like the pita still has to go in. The kitchen has to see the order and has to, it's pita. It's easier to get out, but it still has to be like double Dutch. It has to be worked in. And it'll get to you. And it arrives because it's not going to be like a 1-minute thing. It's not like we have this bread station where this is coming out of the goddamn oven. And it arrives, and she looks at the person with pita next to her, and it's like, that pita's darker. And she's like, but this is undercooked. This is doughy. Lady, it's picked up in the oven. It's already cooked through. You can't partially cook pita and have it sitting around. You have to cook it through so we don't kill you. And then it's picked up in the oven. You want it a little darker like that? You want a little more well-done toast? Let me know. And then was just this like whole thing like, it was doughy and I don't want that. And like, and Tyler's like, well, I can get you focaccia. That'll come out a little quicker. She's like, yeah, I'll have. And so we get the focaccia. He's like, how's that focaccia treating you? She's like, well, I'd rather have the pita. And he's like, I can get you the pita. She's like, well, no, it's too late. I don't even know if I want any of this anymore. I don't. It's like, what, your salad's going to get cold? Is that your salad's too cold now? Shut the fuck up. So yeah, we don't want to be that person, right? Because I'm now talking about this person. This is not going to affect her day. But do you want to be the person that people talk shit about behind your back, whether you know it or not? That you leave such an impression? Like, there are certain people that I don't give a shit about one way or the other. But what I pity for people like that, and for people who seem to be everywhere right now, it's like, I don't give a shit one way or another whether you're here or not. But I do pity the fact that you are living your life in such a way that people celebrate your demise. People celebrate your whatever. But people celebrate bad things happening to you. That is no way to live. That's not who I want to be as a person. That's not who I want to be as a person, and that's not people I want to be around. So, like, don't be that person. Be gracious, especially this time of year. That's a free gift you can give to people. Grace. All right? What's the last thing? Oh, yeah, this is all kind of one thing. Set your expectations accordingly. All right? Just because it's the holiday season, what did we say? You're not the only one celebrating. Don't expect, like, I have to roll out a red carpet for you. Really, this is transactional. This is all transactional. None of this is, you get what you get. You're paying for this, you're getting that, plus a smile. Plus a, hey, how you enjoying it? Plus a checking in. Plus a, oh, wow, that's interesting. What a good combination you ordered. That's so smart. I should suggest that. You'll get that. But it is, at the end of the day, transactional. This ain't Hello Dolly, and you are not Dolly. So I'm not going to be doing a dance at the Harmonia Gardens, man. Well, hello, Dolly. Well, hello, Dolly. No, we're not doing that. Be realistic, all right? Everyone else. I'm just going to sound like a broken record. That's what pre-shift is. Everyone else is celebrating. Everyone else is here for this and that. So don't make it seem like this is not your private dining room, Restaurants are a shared experience. Set your expectations accordingly. Don't expect the world, but be grateful for when you go above and beyond. Be grateful for when somebody goes out of their way to do a little something extra. Don't demand it. You get what you get. You order that, you get that. And that's reflected on the bill. And you pay that, and you tip, all right? You aren't owed anything. I'm not owed anything. I'm owed a tip, but I'm not really owed anything. We don't need to have a connection. We can just, if there is a connection, hey, let's talk. Let's boom, boom, boom. But also just set your expectations and know that your server, your bartender, your busser, your whatever has so many people, and you don't want to take away from other people's experiences. And when you feel like you're being ignored, or that like, oh, I wish a waiter would come by more often, trust and believe that we're not, yes, sometimes we're on our phone, but the reason we're not there when you need it is because some other asshole is usurping their time as if they were their private waiter and wants the entire show and dance and then an encore performance. So when it's not your waiter dropping the ball, it's your fellow diner being an asshole. All right? There we go. That's it. Another commercial break. Why am I announcing the commercial breaks? Is that all I want to say? Yeah, that's all I got to say. All right. Be right back. This is probably a commercial promoting my show. It's that time of year. I know I should wait till after Halloween, but I don't want to wait to let you know that I'm coming back to Feinstein's at the Nico on Sunday, December 21st at 5 p.m. with Holiday Test Drive 13, Sparkle and Joy. It is going to be an uplifting, loving, reminiscent, beautiful, hilarious show where I share what I've been up to this year, where I share memories of Christmas pasts. I poke fun at my family, share crazy holiday stories, touching memories, and sing a few songs. And I'm so excited because this year I'm debuting a song written just for me, written just for Holiday Test Drive, written by my friend G. Enrique, who has been my music director for many years and who I go to get my tracks. And we're going to be debuting our song Sparkle and Joy, written by him and Anthony Justin Long. And I can't wait to share that with you. And you shouldn't wait to get your tickets. Get your tickets today by going to FeinsteinsSF.com to get your tickets now for Sunday, December 21st at 5 p.m. at Feinstein's at the Nico in San Francisco, our 13th year. I can't wait to share these songs and these stories and all of my beautiful sparkle and joy. I will be in fishnets and heels and sequins. Oh my goodness, keeping Christmas bright and gay. Get your tickets today. I can't wait to see you, San Francisco. Get your tickets. Oh my God. So now I just want to do some shout outs for y'all for things that we can do to enjoy this holiday season, outings we can go to. And you just heard it in the commercial. And hopefully by the time I hope I have time to correct the mistake I made in that commercial. But if I didn't, the lyricist for the song that I'm debuting in my holiday show is Justin Anthony Long, not Anthony Justin Long. I'm like, oh, that's so weird. I never noticed that he's like Justin Long, but just with Anthony in front of it, because he's not. He's Justin Anthony Long. So I hope I corrected that before I edit this, but if I don't have time, it's just going to be wrong. And I'm correcting it now. And I'm sorry to Justin Anthony Long for messing that up. Anyway, back to what was I saying? Oh yeah, this is what we're doing. These are some holiday events, and first and foremost, mine. Yeah, I got a show, San Francisco. I am coming back for my 13th year with my holiday test drive now at Feinstein's at the Nico, which is 222 Mason Street, San Francisco. We are going to be there December 21st at 5 p.m. It's a Sunday. Because a few years ago, when I had to have a Sunday matinee show at Martuni's, and I was like, oh my God, and Skip's like, this is all we have. I'm so sorry. Turned out to be the best-selling show. Because people don't want to be out late on a Tuesday night. So it was a blessing in disguise. So it's like, great. And now that I'm at the Nico and I'm only doing one show, that's the best option. And people love it because it's like, it's late enough to where they can get what they need done during the day for the holidays. And it's early enough to where they can not regret their Monday morning. So Sunday, December 21st at 5 p.m., Holiday Test Drive 13, Sparkle and Joy, where I will be debuting a song that my beautiful friend and virtual music director, G. Enrique, and their friend, Justin Anthony Long, wrote together specifically for me within the theme of the show. It is so much fun, and I've never had have I ever? I don't know. This is, it's a gift. It's a gift, and I cannot wait for you to hear the song. I cannot wait for you to hear this show again. I love bringing the holidays back to San Francisco. I love being part of the celebration. I love sharing my holiday stories, doing something that makes you laugh, doing something that touches your heart. Whatever gets the holiday spirit in you, I am so glad in any way I can be a part of that, if I'm a part of that. And you can be a part of it by buying your tickets at Feinstein's SF.com and get your tickets today. All right. I can't wait to see you. Erin Allen is returning on piano, and I just love working with her. I have some new songs. I have some new arrangements. I have some favorite stories. We're talking about that Christmas tree. Oh, we are talking about that Christmas tree story. And if you don't know what that Christmas tree story is, you're missing out. Oh, you need to get there. But come to see us at Feinstein's at the Nico on December 21st at 5 p.m. All right, next up, who do we got? Oh man, I love him. Richard Skipper. Richard Skipper Celebrates is coming back to the Laurie Beachman Theater in New York City. That is the theater in the basement of the West Bank Cafe on 42nd and 9th. One of my favorite spots in all of New York City. I have such amazing memories performing on that stage, saddling up to that bar with my dear Marty Millett. Love that place. I'm so glad that they survived the pandemic a few times over, and they're still in business. They're still providing a space for artists to eat and a space for artists to create. And Richard Skipper is coming back with his show. It is going to be Friday, November 21st at 7 p.m. And you can get your tickets at WBCNYC.com. If you don't know who Richard Skipper is, look up Richard Skipper Celebrates and see what a career, from moving his life, moving to New York to pursue performing, to ending up through impersonating Carol Channing, building a friendship with Carol Channing. He has so many stories. He's a Broadway historian as well. And I could hear him read the phone book. He is so charming and so lovely, and we all need a break. There's so much shit going on in the world. We need some joy, like, injected into us now. And Richard Skipper is just the person. So make sure that you get your tickets to see Richard Friday, November 21st at 7 p.m. at the West Bank Cafe. And my dear buddy, I was like, I need to promote somebody. I know I'm missing out on somebody that, has a show coming up, and it'll be perfectly timed with this episode. Yeah. Last week's guest. How quickly do I forget? My dear friend, the wonderful Tim Connell, whose name I said right on the first try this time, is going back to the Green Room 42 with his second year doing his holiday show, 'Tis the Season. And you heard us unpack what goes into our shows, and both how we try to get across the point of there are multiple things. There's a world of people alive at this time of year, celebrating what is important to them. There's a world of holidays. There's a world of beautiful things happening in this season, and trying to bring that as we celebrate, bring that awareness and that attention. And just, doesn't it make everything more beautiful? So we're on the same page. He also is just so goddamn dreamy and croony and wonderful. I just love his voice. I love his storytelling. I love his stage persona. He's got, the kids say Riz. He's just so charming. And his show is actually going to be bookending the holidays. So first show is going to be on November 28th. And then right after Christmas, because the holidays aren't over, December 27th, he's doing his second performance. Both shows are at 7 p.m. at the Green Room 42. And you can get your tickets by going to the Green Room 42. That's numerically 42, just the numbers, .venuetix.com, and you can see him live and in person. If you're not in New York City, you can stream the show, which is what I did last year from the comfort of my couch here in Inglewood, California. And it was just such a nice, like I said on last week's episode, it was such a nice way to tie up the holiday season. Just put a little bow on it, and performing myself, and then to be entertained. And I'd be like, That's a nice way to put this holiday season away for the year. It's wonderful. So I can't sing his praises anymore. Just if you need to hear, he's a 2-time award winner. He's the recipient of the 2023 Bistro Award and the 2025, I messed it up last week saying 2024, 2025 Mac Award for Best Male Vocalist. We share those in common. And, as his press release says, his work has been praised for its warmth, wit, and intimacy. Isn't that pretty much what I just said? So 'tis the season promises a festive evening filled with laughter, nostalgia, and joy. A true holiday tonic for the soul. Oh, you little bitch. That's good. Fuck, why didn't I think about that for my show? Maybe I'll steal it. But go support these wonderful artists on stage, and I include myself in wonderful artists on stage, and enjoy the holiday season with music and with laughter, right? Other ways that we can, support artists this time of year is in our gift giving. We can support artists and the things that they have to offer. So I want to point out some people that you can support in giving gifts to the people you love. First up is Maggie May. My friend Maggie May, who I worked with in New York City bartending. She was my manager at one point. She is phenomenal. She is the reason why I became a spritz queen, because she is the queen of spritzes. And she made this one spritz that I recycle many times over. I've done it for pride parties. I did it for when Jeremy made his bar mitzvah. And I just have to make clear, he made his bar mitzvah as part of his milestone birthday. We're 6 months apart, okay? So but every time people are like, your boyfriend had a bar mitzvah, I'm like, yes, you can get bar mitzvah at any time. Anyway, so he wanted that drink as a signature drink for the bar mitzvah. And it is phenomenal. It's a rosé spritz. And she brought that into my life, and just her joy and passion around spritz, around bartending, around this industry, she's really good in this industry. She's really just got hospitality in her bones, and the art in it, the art that she brings to everything she does has now transferred over into a business where she has Midwest Famous. And go to MidwestFamous.com to learn more about these products. But they are THC drinks and snacks. So it's like, kind of like a high noon, those hard seltzers. It's kind of like that, but made with THC. So there's a spritz version of it. What are the other flavors? A ranch water. She has black cherry sour THC gummies. She has blood orange THC gummies. You can order these online and have them as part of responsibly of your holiday celebrations and wonderful gifts. I'm going to get a few of these, maybe for myself, maybe for a gift. I don't know. But she's absolutely wonderful. And I just wanted to talk about her business. So their mission is to craft THC products with Midwestern authenticity, flavor, and quality, because we give a shit. Their motto, shamelessly weird and famously wonderful. Their vision, to create the best tasting THC edibles and cocktails. Midwest Famous is here to ensure every moment tastes just as good as it feels. Isn't that amazing? And a little bit about Maggie, which I can't wait for her to come on the show. She's off doing her own little bar rescue with her friend, and it's a community, and it takes a village, right? So nearly 20 years in the bar scenes in New York and Los Angeles. Maggie has a deep passion for cocktails and hospitality. Didn't I just say that? A 2023 USBG World Class finalist and named one of California's best bartenders in LA Drinks Guide. She's excited to bring her passion back home to the Midwest to create fun and innovative beverages that reflect not only her travels, but her roots. So go to MidwestFamous.com and check out to see if some of these products are right for you and your holiday celebrations. Next up, former guest, the one and only, the phenomenal Spencer Glass. He's not just an acting coach, but he's an acting career coach. And it's the perfect gift. If you have an actor, a performer in your life that seems like they're hitting a wall, feels stuck, feels like they need shifts, they need clarity, they need focus, they need a coach to help them through the business side of this, not just how you're doing on your monologue, but how are you doing with managing your schedule, with managing your projects, with managing your time and energy to really spend it where you need it so you have it for when you need it. And that's what Spencer offers his clients. So you can go to spencerglass.com. And just, a little bit about him, refresher if you haven't listened to his episode. Spencer Glass Coaching supports actors in developing strategic, sharp business tools and ownership over their career. Through a tailored approach, he helps to ensure actors stop playing it safe and remember the business in show business. Let's work together. So go visit Spencer Glass and see, can you book 1 hour can you book one session with Spencer? He has private classes, he has group classes. And if you know an actor that you're looking for the perfect gift for, a performer looking for the perfect gift for, go to Spencer Glass and get one of his coachings. They are gonna love you. They're gonna thank you. You're gonna thank me. So go check him out. And then this one is really wonderful. I really love this idea. Larry Darnell Penn is a phenomenal talent. He has been in restaurants, slinging drinks and slinging hash for many, 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 many years, and he does it so well. He's also been on stage for many, many years, doing that so well. Just a voice that doesn't quit. I cannot wait to have him on the show in the future, and that's in the works. But just a phenomenally talented person in so many areas. And recently, he took to social media to let people know he also is a writer. He also writes, and he started this little side business, $10, and he will make you a personal poem about anything you want. And you tell him what you want the poem to be about, $10, he'll make you a poem. And I thought, that's genius. And for the holiday season, this is a great stocking stuffer. This is a great, extra little gift for your family members. $10 a pop. Tell them about the family member. Tell them about the vacation you want a poem about. Just tell them about whatever you want the poem to be about. And then somebody has their own customized poem. So go check out Larry Darnell Penn. Larry, spelled like Larry, Darnell with one N and two L's, and Penn with two N's. All right. Check him out on social media, see his content, reach out to him, let him know. And you can just Venmo him at More Pork Chop on Venmo. $10. Reach out to him on Instagram. Let him know what you want your poem to be about. Maybe reach out to him first and then Venmo him, just so that way, messages don't get lost. But like I said, perfect stocking stuffer. And I can't sing his praises enough. He's been so generous and to so many people. He has been my waiter. He has been my buddy at the 9th Avenue Saloon. If you see him at a bar and you see him at the 9th Avenue, buy him a drink. Buy him a drink and pull up a seat next to him and just be prepared for a wonderful conversation, wonderful boy watching, wonderful, hilarious jokes. Like, just such an entertaining person, thoroughly from his core. So buy him a drink and enjoy the show that is him, and just connect with him. He, like I said, so generous. He's many times where I've been looking for a job, didn't work out, but he's gotten me interviews. He's gotten me this and that. He's connected. My sister-in-law came to visit, and her husband got a little too tipsy, and we ran into Larry at a bar and just shooting the shit, chopping it up, and they left their souvenirs at the bar. And so I wake up to a message the next day from Larry, because apparently we all got a little tipsy. He's like, "Hey, hope you made it home safe. Just so you know, your family left this behind, and I have it." And we couldn't work out a time. And he's like, "You know what? I'm going to give it to my manager. You stop by my restaurant." But when the manager's like, "Oh, I have it," and so freaking friendly. So like, why wouldn't you want to support someone amazing like that? So who are we supporting this week? We are looking up Maggie May Dale at MidwestFamous.com. We are looking up Spencer Glass at SpencerGlass.com for his acting coaching. And then Larry Darnell Penn at Larry Darnell Penn. All of this will be included in the show episode description below. To go reach out and support these artists. And two birds with one stone. Support an independent artist. Give a great gift, right? Outside the box. All right, there we go. Am I going to take a break here? Let's just say we take a break. I'm not sure if no, we don't need to take a break. No, we don't need a break. So the next thing I wanted to, little tips, not on how to behave, but how to enjoy. I just wanted to share with you, like, kind of what I do to get myself in the holiday spirit. Like when I'm decorating my tree, when I'm enjoying every single moment of the holiday season as part of, recovering from working the holidays, recovering from putting my show together, what I need to do to just my self-care. I go to YouTube and I watch old specials, because for me, the thing that really feels like a warm hug, and part of how I mentioned earlier, how daylight savings and the Christmas tree and the smells, what the soundtrack of Bing Crosby, Nat King Cole, all those Time Life recording Christmas episodes, records, like all those sounds are part of my soundtrack. And I just realized, like, go back to YouTube and watch these old specials and watch Nat King Cole Christmas, watch Perry Como Christmas, watch Mel Torme singing, the Christmas song, Chestnuts Roasting on a Open Fire. Watch these old school 1960s, 1950s, 1970s specials. And one that I love, and I can just watch on repeat, the Julie Andrews Christmas special. She also has one of the most amazing Christmas albums. But go back. I mean, it has Mama Cass. It has John Denver. John Denver's in the 1981, which is also great. Placido Domingo, John Denver as Mozart. And she, like the 1960s, 1970s one is just, recreating Dickens type England, and with modern songs and modern performers, and it's just so cute and so campy, and it'll just really get you in the spirit. And then the 1981, where she goes to, I think, Vienna, and I am just blown over every time. I forget what song she sings. It's not "Oh Holy Night." I think Placido Domingo sings that one. I can't remember what song she sings, but it's just the full. You almost forget, even though how do you forget? She has that full operatic range, just the most beautiful, stunning soprano sound, and it just washes over you and brings such joy. So go, if you're on all those things you're looking at, make sure that you have Julie Andrews. Both her Christmas specials are available on YouTube. Watch them in full, watch them over and over while you're cooking, while you're wrapping gifts. Just do your whatever you need to get yourself into that feeling of the season. Other things are mediocre rom-coms. Mediocre Christmas rom-coms. I know people complain, they have no plot, they have no this, they blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, that's the fucking point. Sometimes you just need to unplug. Sometimes you need shitty things to make you feel good. And this is, it's not going to affect your liver. All right. This is a healthy shitty thing you can do to just take your brain off, to just have stupid fun. Like things that I love. Hot Frosty, which when that movie came out last year and I saw the title, I was like, is this on Netflix or some other streaming platform? Because Hot Frosty, that sounds like no, we're not going to go there. And a two-dimensional plot line, a plot line without any, whatever. It has Dr. Ted from Schitt's Creek mostly naked. And that man, I don't know what he's doing to live life like that with his tight little body, like in the snow. I watch that one on repeat. I'll watch it again this season a few times over. It is just entertaining. It's not deep. It's not going to solve the world's problems, but it's nice to look at, and it's holiday spirit. Got a good message in it. Got a good little in it. Anyways, Lindsay Lohan, Our Little Secret, Falling for Christmas. 2 back-to-back Netflix Christmas things that she did that are just so cheesy and adorable, like one step up maybe from Hallmark, but just entertaining. And then Michael Urie, Single All the Way. How can we forget that? With a star-studded cast, Kathy Najimy as his mom, Michael Urie as the main character, and Jennifer Coolidge. Being Jennifer Coolidge as his aunt, I think. And that's the one where like, I just don't know what it is. The gays love me. They always have great taste. I can't do Jennifer Coolidge. There's enough people that do her, but that's the movie, and it's hilarious. It is just so much fun and so heartwarming. And then my absolute favorite, Christmas on the Square. Yeah, that Dolly Parton one. Paper thin plot, makes no sense. It's literally like a generic combination of other Christmas stories, all kind of with just paper thin plot, not really that deep. Some things aren't like congruent and don't really make sense how that's possible. And like Christine Baranski's doing a flashback to when she had, well, I don't want to ruin it, but there's a flashback and it's like the 70s, but you wouldn't be, it's like, as Mamma Mia is continuing to go on, it's that similar thing. Like, well, you couldn't have an 18-year-old daughter that you conceived in the 70s. But we don't care about that. We just enjoy it. And this is just pure, like, surface level entertainment. There's like, a romantic couple that has no chemistry, but you still root for them. It is the plot, what's going to happen. It's a mix of It's a Wonderful Life, as well as Scrooge, as well as so many other Christmas stories. And it's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. A lot of people don't like it. I do. And I plan on watching it multiple times after Jeremy's gone to bed or when he's out of the house. And I suggest you do it too. It's a lot of fun. And these are part of my self-care routine. This is part of what gets me in the spirit and keeps me in the spirit when, slaving away at the stove or overwhelmed with cleaning that you have to do for holidays, all those things. Put this on, and it is just a tonic for the soul. Oh, that sounds familiar. And what else? Oh, this is so cool because these holiday movies just keep growing, and there seems to be more and more and more. And we know there's one coming out because we interviewed Darren Cardosa, the bitchy waiter, about his movie We're So Dead, a holiday Christmas murder mystery taking place in a restaurant, and that double entendre of We're So Dead, it's slow, and also, oh shit, there's a killer in this restaurant, and it's making its worldwide debut on Friday, November 21st, and you can get yourself a 7-day rental, and that's exactly what I plan to do. So go to we'resodeadmovie.com and put in your pre-order today. All right, I'm going to wrap this up because I've been talking a long time, and I got to get ready. This has been a long time. I got to get ready for work. So I want to just talk about my little seasonal cocktail for you. And part of I enjoy hosting. I enjoy doing Thanksgiving, and a lot of things I picked up because my parents were natural entertainers and so hospitable. I learned a lot from them, and then I learned a lot working in this industry about how to do successful entertaining. And so I want to kind of share that with you, and that's how I get through. Uh, I have Thanksgiving down to a science, and it's and part of what happens in a restaurant is, again, we're not just reinventing. At my restaurant, the bar has too many things going on that are only specific for one drink, but every single kitchen out there, every smart kitchen has components that make up multiple, that are used in multiple dishes. This component is used in this many ways, and and it's different each time, but the component is the same. But when they come together, it creates a separate dish. But it's how you work smart, and that's how I learn. When I am getting ready for Thanksgiving, I make my cornbread. That's for the stuffing. On Monday, I let it sit in a bag so it gets nice and stale, so I can toast it up. Then that same recipe I've already in me. I make that. I make my mise en place. I have all my things chopped, so that way when I'm ready for the next step, again, kind of like how I shared when you open a bar, when you close a bar, you just keep working in order of what you need next and having what you need next ready, so you don't have to stop the flow. So you kind of learn how do I shop for Thanksgiving, and how do I prepare Thanksgiving in a way that these components are being used here, here, and here, and I'm setting myself up for success. Oh my goodness, there, and there. So that's how I do it, and that's what I'm going to do with this cocktail tutorial I'm going to give you. And the first thing is, this is the time of year I love bourbon more than any other time of year. It's bourbon season. Summer's for margaritas. This is for bourbon drinks. And I want to just talk you through this simple syrup that kind of goes from autumn into winter perfectly, and you can adjust it. If you don't like one of the ingredients, take it out. But having it ready and what it can do for you. So for my birthday, I made an autumnal margarita. And I prepared this simple syrup by mixing a mason jar. I think it's a 24-ounce mason jar. Fill it up halfway with both equally, halfway with agave and honey. Then what you're going to do is you're going to drop in 2 cinnamon sticks, 5 cloves, 2 whole star anise pods, and then you're going to a nub of not garlic, a nub of ginger. And you're going to chop that up so that way there's enough surface area for it to extract its flavor. You want to really make your flavors bold in a simple syrup, because they will later be diluted with the other ingredients, with the citrus, with the spirit. So you really want to get as much flavor, more than you think, because it will mute itself when other components come to it. So you want to put as much flavor in there. It sounds like a lot. Then you're going to take your hot water and you're going to pour it into that mason jar and fill it the rest of the way. Screw on the lid. You want to get metal on glass right away, as soon as you can, because metal will conduct the heat away. That's how I learned in Max's doing tableside iced tea. That iced tea spoon is important so your glass doesn't break. So you want to get metal right away, and maybe even have a metal spoon in the mason jar while you're combining all these ingredients, just so that way the heat immediately goes up through the metal. And then you screw that mason jar lid tight, and then get a towel and shake gently to make sure that the honey and the agave are mixing with the water. It's becoming the syrup, and then you leave it on your counter until it is cool enough to put in the fridge. And that is extracting that heat, and is extracting everything from the cinnamon, from the ginger, from the cloves, from what's the other thing? The star anise. And then you put it in the fridge, and it's just let it I'd say let it steep overnight and let it sit overnight, and then strain it out into another mason jar to get all those components out, and you have this simple syrup that you can use in multiple drinks. So the first one, the one that I'm looking forward to, is my little winter whiskey sour, and I'm going to use an ounce of that simple syrup. I'm going to use an ounce of fresh lime juice. I'm going to use 2 ounces of whiskey, and I'm going to use either an ounce of egg whites or one egg white from a freshly cracked egg, which I recommend because the foam is better. But if you're doing store-bought's okay. If you're using, egg whites in a carton, 1 ounce. You're going to put that in your tin to shake it. You're going to dry shake it, no ice. That's how you get the foam. That's how you get the emulsification. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. Then you're going to add ice. You're going to shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. And as soon as you can, get that lid off, put the strainer on, and strain it into a coupe or a martini glass, and let it sit almost like an espresso martini. The foam will rise up, and you have this beautiful layer of foam on top. You're going to grab some bitters, and you're going to do a few dashes of bitters on top of that. Take a toothpick, and in those dashes of bitters, you'll run the toothpick through those circles, and you'll make little hearts. Then you're going to peel one lemon, just get one lemon peel, and you're going to express that over that foam. And this is important because you will smell egg whites if you do not put the bitters and the lemon zest and oils on that foam. And it's going to taste good, but it's not going to smell good. So you want to make sure you mask that up. Drop that lemon peel in and enjoy. All right. I'm going to see if I have time to make a video going through that with you, but that's what I recommend. If you want to impress somebody, that's the drink I would go with if they're whiskey drinkers. You can also simply use that to make an old fashioned. Simple syrup, bitters, whiskey, boom, old fashioned. Hot toddy, whiskey, lemon juice, hot water, and this simple syrup, boom, you got it. All the components are there. So enjoy responsibly, and work smart. Work smart. Have something that you can use in many different areas, all right? I just gave you 3 cocktails that you can enjoy this season with your loved ones and friends, which are loved ones, right? It's all family. We're all family here. Yeah, and part of that, make sure as we're getting into the holiday season, we plan out our drinking days and we plan out our non-drinking days. It is very easy to be so social and not drink enough water and not realize like, oh shit, I've been drinking for 5 days in a row. That's not good. That's not good. So make sure you plan out your days accordingly. So that way you have days off, because those surprise happy hours, those surprise get-togethers, those last-minute get-togethers, they add up. We need to take care of ourselves, all right? We need to not wait until New Year's to be proactive about our health. That's it. That's the show. I hope you enjoyed. Before we go, I want to give a shout out, as we always do, for someone who makes our tough shifts easier. And I want to shout out my partner, Jeremy, who in many ways makes my tough shifts easier, in many ways supports me and is supporting me as I am making my transition out of hospitality, as I am figuring out how I want to re-envision and restructure my life as an artist, and what I need to do to support myself, to support our home, just to do that, and really just not just supporting me, but holding my hand to what's the task, keeping me accountable, really holding me accountable, really supporting me, and really being here for me, and having those conversations of like, hey, this is not sustainable for you, and I want you to be happy. And so what are we going to do about it? And that's kind of, I've been talking about transitioning out of this a lot lately. And that's what goes behind it. And from the first moment we met to our time doing long distance to our time here in LA, just the amazing support and generosity that I wake up to every day. I just want to say thank you, Jeremy. And this episode is for you. Clearly the world needs more people like you. This has been another episode of Tough Shift. And just remember, tough shifts build personality. And nope, tough shift build character. And character is what brings your story to life. Jesus Christ, I need a day off. Love you guys. Happy holidays. Tough Shift was created and hosted by Sean Patrick Murtaugh. It was recorded on Riverside and distributed with Buzzsprout. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review and maybe a comment or two. And remember, tough shifts build character, and character is what brings your story to life.